Coffee Talk. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, 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 peace. And welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast Show. And this is your Wednesday night sports edition. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba. And this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. How y'all doing today? Great to see you. Thank you. And as you start to chime on in to the show, come on in, pour yourself some coffee, a cappuccino, some wine, some water, a smoothie, whatever you do. But come on in, kick your feet up, and enjoy our humble home here at Coffee Talk Podcast. What's happening, y'all? I ain't seen y'all since Wednesday. I say that every episode, don't I, y'all? I ain't seen y'all since Wednesday last week, sports edition. And today we got a good show today, though. Oh, man. Yeah. Your boy, who I regard as probably one of the toughest football players, man, I ever seen, man, being in the Midwest. But I always had an ill feeling towards him. I had a love-hate relationship with him because I knew just by the feel of him what type of individual he was. And then as he continued to play up here in the Midwest in the cold tundra football, you got to see what type of character he was. But the boy was tough, but he's still a sleaze bag. We're talking about CHEEZY, Breezy, Brett FREEZEY, number 4. Green Bay, New York Jets, Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, he's in the news, man. So we're going to talk about him tonight. We also going to dive in and talk about the big fight. Yeah, the big fight is scheduled. The super fight is what I like to call it, between ERROL Spence and Terrance Bud Crawford. Man, it's going to be a tremendous fight, man. November 19th, to be exact. November 19th is a very special date for me, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we dive into the show. And then, of course, to end the show tonight, we're going to end it with a poem by poet COUNTEE CULLEN. That's right, COUNTEE CULLEN. So we'll definitely be doing that. But other than that, man, let me know what time it is, man. Welcome to the show, Coffee Talk Podcast. While you're here, do me a big favor. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and call your friends up, text them up, jump in their DMs, whatever, and say, look, Coffee Talk Podcast is on tonight, the sports edition with Big Dot. And, we getting it in. So, you can tune in right now if you like, live on YouTube. You also can tune in to our public site right there on Facebook. We do got a public site where you can view us at as well. And to those that are real close to me, they may even be checking me out on my personal page. So all I want to say, man, is thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for continuing to support Coffee Talk Podcast and allowing me to bring y'all this beautiful visual. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get started. If this is your first time jumping into the show, we never start a show without giving it this flavor. We never start a show without giving it its wise words. All of that combined just gives us a nice taste. It gives us a beautiful flavor. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we give you here at Coffee Talk Podcast. We give you flavor. So let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? Tonight's flavor. Can I get a drum roll? Not that one. How about this one? Hey, I ain't telling jokes. I'm gonna have to fire my drummer. Yeah, I ain't trying to hear this shit. Nah, it's all good. All right, so listen, we're getting ready to go ahead and dive on in and give you the flavor. Tonight's flavor is brought to you by a website called Wine-O-Mark website. And according to Wine-O-Mark website. I'm gonna spell that out first before we even get started. Wine O Mark. So that's wine, WINE, the letter O, and then Mark, MARK.com website. According to their website, they were asked what's the best mini bottle that's out right now as far as wines or whatnot. You know the little mini bottle, we like to call them the airplane bottles. You know what I'm saying? And or they may even be bigger than an airplane bottle. A couple more we call it shots, by the way, but I don't know if you call wine shots, but a nice size. Let me see. Maybe a 7, 8 ounce, maybe a 12-ounce wine bottle. But anyway, Wino Mark, according to Wino Mark, the best mini bottle, especially going into these holiday seasons. 'Cause I know you people still be celebrating family during the winter. That's what I call it, family holidays, not actually some holidays that we don't follow, but the fact that families are getting together during the winter time. We just call it family holidays. How about that? Um, but Wino Mark states that the best mini wine bottle, um, by popular demand, is a wine called La Marca Prosecco. That's right, La Marco Prosecco. So if you're interested in any type of wine for you and your lady, or you want to have some wine just sitting on the side of the couch, love seat, the bed, whatever. If you're watching sports, since it's Wednesday night sports edition. But if you're watching sports and you just want to have some wine or whatnot, think about La Marco Prosecco wine. What is La Marco Prosecco wine, and why am I giving it free promotion? Well, I like wine. One of the reasons. And the other reason is just I just believe in the wine, man. The wine states that it's affordable. Yes. It's delicious. Yes. And it has high quality. And with all those three um good features, sounds like a great wine to me. I haven't had none yet, but I'll tell you what, I'll be marching to the store as soon as I can. You can find this wine at any wine store. So again, that is La Marca Prosecco wine. Hey, La Marco, y'all getting free pub this week from me, man. Get me on. I'm trying to get on. You know what I'm saying? Let's get an ad contract going. I'm serious. All right. So let's go ahead and move right along. Also, tonight's wise words come from a great actor, man. A great actor. I'm gonna go ahead and just give you the tell of the tape. This actor was born April 1st. I'm sorry, let me pause. Rewind. This actor was born April 6, 1937 in New York City. That's right. And his real name, which I just discovered tonight. I knew his name, but I didn't know that what I'm about to tell you his name is. That's what I'm saying. So just follow me. Just follow me. Um, this gentleman, man, this great actor, man. I've been following him since I was a young dude, man. I'm straight up. He's one of my favorite characters in Bingo Long and the Traveling All Stars. He's also known as Lando Clarician. He also starred as that character, Lando Clarician, in the movie Empire Strike Back in 1980. He also appeared in Return of the Jedi 1983. This man uh, took the world by storm when he played in the movie Lady Sings the Blues back in 1972, and also Mahogany back in 1975, along with Diana Ross. No further, no more should I go in, or no further ado, I should say. The wise words of tonight is Billy December Williams Jr. That's right, Billy December Williams Jr. I didn't know his middle name was December, but as an actor, his name is Billy D. Williams. Definitely, man, definitely. I used to call my dad Billy D. Williams. Straight up, 'cause my father's name is William, and his friends call him Bill or Billy, Dollar Bill. And shout out to you, Dad. Um, yeah, so the wise words tonight is coming from actor Billy D. Williams, and Billy D. Williams says this. He says, the world moves fast, but change ain't always a good thing when you got it right the first time around. I'm gonna say that again. The world moves fast, but change isn't always a good thing when you got it right the first time around. So sometimes we get it right. You done manifested it, you done thought about it, you was focused, you wrote it down, it was a goal, it was reachable, you accomplished it, you got the success that you felt that you deserved once you reached that plateau. So sometimes we get so far ahead of ourselves when we should just take a step back and realize that, man, I finally accomplished this goal, or something is working for me and I'm seeing the results. Never overlook the good things and start reaching for things before you realize that, look, man, I got to that stage I was trying to get to before I go on and try to think of another stage. Sometimes you get to that finish line and you won and you so competitive eternally that you want to continue your drive and not realize that you won. Slow down, smell the roses, enjoy the champagne, enjoy the victory. That's what we're talking about here on Coffee Talk Podcast. And those was the wise words of Billy D. Williams. Again, Billy D. Williams says the world moves fast, but change isn't always a good thing when you got it right the first time around. Believe in yourself. Continue to shine. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, listen, and if you're tuning in, welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is the Wednesday night sports edition. As you know, this is your boy Big Dot, M. Dot Saba. This is the Cultural Variety Podcast show. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in, man. This put not so much a nasty taste in my mouth because I'm not surprised. No, I'm just not. I'm not surprised by greedy people. I'm not surprised by certain people in certain class that feels that they can steal from people that may be less fortunate than them, may not have much financial status as them. And these greedy people, these demons, these bloodsuckers of the poor will continue to cheat, continue to steal any way they can. And who am I referring to? I'm referring to who it is. I'm gonna call a pig when I see one. Brett Favre, you're sleazy, you're cheesy, breezy. Brett Favre, you a sucker, man. Why? Because allegedly, FBI has been investigating the Mississippi welfare fraud scandal, or scheme, some of them is calling. They were scheming the people that needed that type of support, that welfare support in Mississippi. Now, I know what some of the haters might say if they just tuning in. They probably say, "Oh, Brett Favre, he didn't do nothing. He just took some money from some niggers." But what I want you to understand is not all black people are on welfare. Let's get that. Let's get that right there. You know what I'm saying? And statistically, they say a lot of white people are on welfare more than anybody else. But hey, statistics can be funny sometimes, depending on who is part of that case study that builds the statistics. You know what I'm saying? Look that up if you think that, or if you don't know that statistics can fluctuate depending on who you're asking. But yeah, Brett Favre, he had a little handshake with the governor by the name of Phil Bryant. Phil Bryant, since this story has went out, um, has been brought uh, criminal charges, and I'm gonna say allegedly because I'm getting all this from the news wire. But the governor Phil Bryant has been charged allegedly, criminally, for the fact that they were taking what they took a total of $77 million from the state of Mississippi. in a welfare scandal. They misappropriated the funds. So in some texts, in a text message, I should say, there was a text message that came about after auditor Shad White of Mississippi started to look into the auditing of the fact that Brett Favre was given $5 million. Now, supposedly, the $5 million was supposed to go towards him, so in for payment as far as delivering speeches back in 2017 and 18. So he's supposed to go out, do some speeches, blah blah blah, some corporate speeches, blah blah blah. He didn't show up, whatever, blah blah blah. Probably never even was attended to, blah blah blah. But he got paid the $5 million. Now, let's say this on behalf of Brett Favre. Brett Favre has paid the $5 million back. Oh, I'm sorry, not 5 million. He paid back $1.1 million of it and still owes the remainder. Now, I could have got that wrong. I think Mississippi gave him $1.1 million for the speeches. I apologize for that. I want to just make sure we clarify that. But it was a total of about $5 million is what was estimatedly given to Brett Favre. Brett Favre did pay some of that money back, but he still owes interest and so forth. Now, researching the story, the scandal, it sounds like a bunch of rich European guys that are having a falling out. And it's between Brett Favre and it's between Shad White, the auditor of Mississippi, and also the governor. The governor and Brett Favre was on the buddy team. So the governor was scheming the $77 million, and then the $77 million that actually went towards welfare funding. He was giving that shit out to celebrities in Mississippi, pocketing some of the shit. There's reports that his nephew was given $300,000 for coding a coding place, and the kid don't even know how to code. That's how serious this story is right now. And what's really crazy to me is because the story's been out for about 2 days, right? And I'm paying attention to that other sports show with that brother with the initials, man. And I'm trying to see where his $10 million ass is going to take the story. Is he going to be a real one and report it right? Or the fact that he's getting a check from some people, is he going to go ahead and make his bosses happy? You know, the old media, man. Because see, he digs at us. It must be the week and all that other bullshit he be on. He digs at us when it's one of us. But when it's the New England Patriots owner at the massage parlor or any type of other scheming ass shit, a lot of these people do, you know what I'm saying? His punk ass be real quiet about it. And why do I bring this shit up? Because I know how they did Michael Vick. Right. And to you pet lovers, I understand. I got a pet myself. We can love our pets, and pets are like our children. I totally get it. But the way y'all try to dog wash, the way y'all try to assassinate Michael Vick's character was very uncalled for. I mean, these are the same people that motherfucking take guns, AK-47s, assault rifles, and go deer hunting or rabbit hunting or squirrel hunting or boar hunting or anything that ain't gonna fight back but just get shot. Shit don't sound right, do it? It sounds like I'm picking on somebody, don't it? But nobody looks at the fact that you're just violent. And when you're not violent, you got your hand in a cookie jar all the time. Brett Favre, I knew you was a character. He was always funny acting towards towards Rodgers, the quarterback right now for Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. when he was coming up. He was playing around with the organization. I might retire. And I won't retire. I might retire if you don't do this. You're such a diva. In 2008, while playing for the New York Jets, there was allegations. And I don't even know if they're allegations, because once you go through any type of court process, that becomes public record. So what you could do is just look up Brett Favre and his situation with the New York Jets. While with the New York Jets, Brett Favre used to jump into DMs. Back then, it wasn't DMs. He was doing the texting straight to the phones and shit, talking about this and that, and he wanting to do this and that and that and this with a masseuse. Well, the whole thing of how he was trying to get with the masseuse and do whatever he was trying to do with the masseuse and trying to get her to do some strange things for some change, the masseuse filed a lawsuit. Yeah, on Brett FREEZEY for CHEEZY. There was a lawsuit filed by the masseuse. Actually, it was two of them during this time span. And Brett Favre ended up settling out of court. Now, the shit was getting thick. I remember it. The storyline was getting real thick. And it was getting so thick that Brett Favre was talking about, man, I'm just going to retire. Because he wanted to get that heat off him. He wanted to get that media off his back. And then what happened? Was it Red McCombs and the Minnesota Vikings? Went down there, took an airplane ride down there, man, and went and got Brett Favre from Mississippi, a private jet, and said, we want you to be the quarterback for the Vikings. A lot of Green Bay Packer fans felt betrayed because up in here in the frozen tundra, that's a rivalry. So his whole character in Geneva, I mean, his whole character was always like shiesty. He was a diva. So it doesn't surprise me that you in cahoots with the governor stealing $77 million, $5 million of that going towards you to help build your daughter's volleyball facility. Allegedly, one of the texts said, nobody's going to know about this, are they? But what's crazy is there's no, and this is a federal offense. Brett Favre, you should be getting some jail time. You know how it is in Mississippi, man. If you don't know, you better check the history. It's a good old boy state. So I'll be surprised if Brett Favre gets any type of legality, criminal legality. And as I stated earlier, he already paid some of the money back. You know, he's still paying it off, whatnot. Brett Favre stated that it was all good, but Shad White, while he's making payments to Shad White, the auditor, he feels like the auditor is pushing it, taking it to the media. Brett Favre is feeling like you didn't have to do all that. I'm paying it off. Are you paying it off, or are you paying it off for the fact that your ass got caught? Would you have paid it back if you wouldn't have got caught? That is the question. This is your boy, Hall of Famer, Brett FREEZEY for CHEEZY. That's right. He's Brett FREEZEY for CHEEZY. Always trying to take the money. Crazy. They said that overall it's been reported that the state misappropriated $70 million, actually $77 million in federal funds. The money was part of Mississippi fraud embezzlement scheme. What's y'all's thoughts on Brett Favre? Not the athlete, but the scum bucket. Do you know that Brett Favre has a net worth of $100 million playing football? Let's go ahead and keep an eye on this story as the weeks develop, and let's see how he gets treated. All right. So with that being said, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on Brett Favre and the welfare embezzlement scheme with the governor that he got caught up in. Go ahead and leave your thoughts on Brett Favre, man. This is what we're gonna do next. Is we're gonna get ready to go into what we call a 30-second commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to go ahead and talk boxing, and we're going to get ready to do our poem. And then that's going to go ahead and be the end of our show for tonight. This is Coffee Talk Podcast, Cultural Variety Podcast Show. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. I'm going to give you a 30-second commercial break. And when I'll be back, we're talking boxing. Peace, 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 peace. And welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is the Cultural Variety Podcast Show, and this is our sports edition. That's right, Wednesday night sports edition. We do this every Wednesday where we go ahead and talk sports. We don't really care about who won or lost. We talk about the back scene, the behind the scenes intricacies of what goes on in the world of sports. So that's what we're doing. And we definitely give you the flavor each and every time you come here to Coffee Talk Podcast, no doubt. No doubt. All right, so just give me one moment. There's your boy right there. Before we go further into the next segment, again, let me know what your thoughts are on Brett FREEZEY for CHEEZY, Brett Favre right there, man. Former Green Bay Packer, former New York Jet, and former Minnesota Viking quarterback. Has found allegedly to be involved with the governor, Phil Bryant, who was criminally charged doing a welfare embezzlement, taking money from misappropriating money that was intended for families that may need those social services. All right, so now we getting ready to go ahead and dive right on in. WBC, WBA, IBF, welterweight champion, Errol the Truth Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford. Errol the Truth Spence is coming into this fight November 19th, which is a special day for me. He's coming into this fight with a record of 28 wins, 0 losses, with 22 KOs. That means there's only 6 opponents that did not get rocked to sleep by Errol the Truth Spence, who hails out of Texas. He's going to be fighting the WBO, pound for pound, welterweight, pound for pound. Did I say that? Pound for pound. Did I say that? Pound for pound. Number 1 boxer in the world, Terrence Bud Crawford out of Nebraska, who's going to be coming into this fight with 38 wins, 0 losses, and he also has 29 KOs on his record. This is going to be a big, big fight. I'm telling you right now, it's November 19th. Go ahead, get to your personal calendar, put those phone calls in, sign out that you ain't going to work, that you're gonna be in Vegas. You ain't going to work on the 19th. You want to be in Vegas for this super fight between Errol the True Spence and Terrence the Bud Crawford, both undefeated champions. This fight, November 19th, is for undisputed. Last time we saw Errol Spence, he shattered a brother's face, Udonis Ugas. Broke his eye socket, shattered his face. Udonis Ugas, he was the former champion who sent Pac-Man Pacquiao into retirement. Jabbed him to death, y'all. Make sure you go on YouTube. You can check that fight out for free, man. Don't say I didn't give you a nice play on that. Definitely go to the YouTube. Check out that last fight with your Dennis. Am I saying that correctly? You Dennis, you guys versus Pac-Man Pacquiao. But when Errol Spence got to you, Dennis, my Cuban brother, great person, great fighter. Errol Spence put his hands on him, man. It looked like first degree assault with gloves on. And then Terrence Bud Crawford, man, he has two styles. So he can box you regularly or he can go into a southpaw stance and feel comfortable either way. This brother will beat you with his left or his right. He is, for those reasons, and the fact that he's an assassin in the ring, he's the #1 pound for pound giant. Errol the True Spence is anywhere between #2 pound for pound, #3 pound for pound. But like I said earlier, only 6 people have walked away from being knocked out by Errol Spence. Last time we saw Terrence Bud Crawford, though, Terrence Bud Crawford put it on a great challenger, a brother that has heart, a brother that comes forward, a brother that ain't no punk, and Sean Porter. And he did knock Sean Porter down twice, made Sean Porter's father throw in the towel. Like, man, look, we had enough. So this is going to be a super fight. Again, it's going to be undisputed. It's going to be in Vegas. It's scheduled for November 19th. There has not been word on where the event's going to be, but I guarantee you it's probably going to be at the MGM. So definitely go ahead and start putting your dates in to make sure that you take off work, use your PTO or whatever you do, so you can watch the fight. And even if you don't fly out, man, I know a lot of y'all go ahead and spend that money for the pay-per-view. It's going to be real worth it. You ain't seen a fight of this magnitude since Thomas Hearn, Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, and Sugar Ray Leonard. This is the super fight. These ain't no paper champs. These ain't no just anybody last minute go and get in the ring. No, again, this is pound for pound, #1 fighter in the world, Terrence Bud Crawford, and pound for pound, #2 or #3, undisputed WBC, WBA, IBF champion, currently Errol the True Spence, man. It's going to be a great, great fight. All right, so listen, I just want to say thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast. We're going to get ready to go. But as we get ready to go, you know, we appear 3 days a week. We typically appear on Sunday evenings or Mondays. That's an alternate day for us. Those is our cultural studies days. Wednesday, as you see tonight, this is our sports night, and we don't care about who won or lost. We're not the ESPNs, we're not the Fox ones, whatever. Respect to those entities, of course, but we're not them. We like to bring you the flavor. We like to let you know what's really going on behind the scenes of sports with our people. You know what I'm saying? Or the injustices at that involving sports. So that's why we here on Wednesday. And then on Friday, Saturday, again, that's another alternate night. But on Friday and Saturday night, we like to have guests. We like to play a game called 10 Question Q&A. We like to just enjoy ourselves and have a good time. We like to call that grown folks night, grown folks humor, you know. So you might not be able to get all the cuddly words. You might hear some other things on the weekend. You know, we get it in, but we like to have fun and be safe. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely for those that like to have something to drink, a wine, a smoothie, a water, uh, a beer, whatever, and they don't go out. You know, they stay home and enjoy themselves. Friday, Saturday nights, coffee talk, podcast. That's what you want. That's what we here for, to give you the flavor and to give you a good time. All right, so as we get ready, excuse me, as we get ready to leave the show, go ahead and hit the like button. Definitely subscribe to the show. You can subscribe on YouTube. We're gonna get better and better. This is season 2. This is episode 5. Stay with us because we're growing. We got a lot more good shows coming up, some good guests coming up. I'm just gonna throw it out there. We got Small Business Week coming up, where we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and we find out what made them go into starting their own businesses. We also gonna have DJ Week coming up, man. We got some of the dopest original legends right here in the Twin Cities, man, that gets it in, as far as on the wheels of steel. So we're gonna be bringing that too. And you'll hear more on that week. That's gonna be real dope. So definitely be on the lookout for that. So as I get ready to go, I'm gonna read a poem by a poet by the name is COUNTEE CULLEN. COUNTEE CULLEN was born May 30th, 1903, also in New York City. And you notice how when we were talking about Billy D. Williams, when we was doing our wise words at the opening part of the show, Billy D. Williams is from New York. Now we're also talking about COUNTEE CULLEN, the poet from New York. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I really want y'all to start paying attention to the Harlem Renaissance. I know maybe some of you might have heard of it, but have you really went in there and just studied it, just checked out a YouTube video, a documentary, a book, or anything on the Harlem Renaissance? That is where a collective of our scholars, like Malcolm X, Mr. Farrakhan, a lot of great minds were up there in New York City. This was a place of artistry, of theater, of poetry, of fashion. It's the capital of the United States. And these brothers right here, Billy D. Williams and COUNTEE CULLEN, came out of that era. So that's why you should check out Harlem Renaissance, man. We were real fly back then. Still fly, you know what I'm saying? But okay, we're gonna go ahead and read this poem by COUNTEE CULLEN, again, born May 30th, 1903 in New York City. He went to DeWitt Clinton High School, which is in Manhattan. And he wrote this poem called From the Dark Tower, which was put in, was it a newspaper, the Copper Sun, in 1927. Let's begin. From the Dark Tower. From the Dark Tower. From the Dark Tower, we shall not always plant while others reap. The golden increment of bursting fruit, not always countenance, object, and mute, that lesser men should hold their brother's cheek, nor everlastingly while others sleep. Shall we beguile their limbs with mellow flute, not always bend to some more subtile brute. We were not made eternally to weep. The night whose sable breast relieves the stark white stars is no less lovely, being dark. And there are buds that cannot bloom at all in light, but crumble, piteous, and fall. So in the dark we hide the heart that bleeds, and wait and tend our agonizing seeds. From the Copper Sun, 1927. That is the poet COUNTEE CULLEN. Look him up, y'all. You might be able to write an essay or something on him. Or you might be able to know a little bit more about COUNTEE CULLEN, the poet, born May 30th, 1903 in New York City. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and thank you for tuning into our show. We love that you stop by. We love that you continue to support and continue to push us as we grow and grow and grow. So let it. Thank you, man, for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast. I am your host, Mashuma Saba M. Saba. And this is our Coach of Variety Podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with the universal peace sign. Man, I'll see y'all this weekend, all right? I'll see y'all Saturday, man. Grown Folks Edition. In the meantime, peace and love to y'all, man. Be easy.